Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Welcome, everyone, to an extremely special episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And today, we're going to be doing something completely different. Unlike the previous episodes, I'm not going to be talking about stuff like the trailers. I'm not going to be talking about stuff like the news or anything like that. I know there have been a few things that did happen this week, but I decided that for this week in particular, I'm going to be taking a break from all this and do something a little bit different, do something a little more special, do something a little more personal even. And the reason why I say this is because if you are a fan of my videos, if you do watch my videos on my YouTube channel, Electric Dragon 505, then you are probably familiar with the fact that just recently, the day before I am recording this right now, that I have finished what I could pretty much consider to be my magnum opus. I finished off more than a year and a half of an amazing journey of making one entire series dedicated to the history of Disney animation. Yes, this, what I am talking about is, of course, Animation Lookback, Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus. So with that said, welcome people to the Animation Lookback After Party, the Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus edition. And by the way, I am not alone on this because I also got a special guest with me. You guys might know, of course, as the show stealer of Animation Lookback Disney Animation Plus. Please welcome back to the podcast, Logan Miller. Logan, what is up, dude?
Don't arrest me for stealing the show. Well, yeah, thanks for having me on board, Matt.
Hey, no problem, no problem. And I think I might as well start this off by saying, oh my god, dude, we did it. We made it to the end. We have finally completed this entire show from beginning to end, from October of 2019 all the way to the start of April 2021. How do you feel? I'm just curious.
I'm honestly kind of surprised by that because it just seems like yesterday where I just started animating the first scene of Walt Disney losing the rights to Oswald. And then here we are now finishing up with animating some bits for A Song in the South. And yeah, it feels kind of weird not doing this anymore. I'm going to miss animating Walt Disney, Michael Eisner, Jeffrey Katzenberg, or Katzenbra in this case. Yeah, I'm just gonna feel weird like not getting the chance to like work out those puppets anymore. But at the same time, it is all well worth it because this has been like a great retrospective of the greatest animation studio of all time. And I can't thank you enough for having me on board with this, Matt.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Even for me, especially, I am still at the point where, like, I don't think I have it fully set in of the fact that I am done, that I'm finished with all this. Because I remember I began this, like, years ago. Like, this was originally meant to be, like, something to kick off, like, a celebration of the 10th anniversary of my YouTube channel. And then it just went on from there. Like, oh my god. And now the fact that, like, this, and keep in mind, this was something that's been on my mind for years. This was something that I've always wanted to plan ever since, like, I started doing this. Because I remember, it was, like, not long after I finished, like, the first Animation Lookback, like, the original Animation Lookback Disney. And it was a year later when I decided to do a 1-year anniversary video, and that's when I announced that I wanted to do an Animation Lookback Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus, where I would go and add in a lot more facts, I would correct a lot of the errors, I would go and pronounce a lot of the names correctly, like actually do an Animation Lookback Disney that is actually right. And for many years, I've spent for many years I've always had that idea, and there were so many people throughout that time that would ask me, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And I'll say right now, like, a lot of people might ask me, why is it that it took me so long to finally make Animation Lookback Disney Plus? And the reason is because I wanted to wait until I am ready. Like, you probably know this, Logan. You know when you watch like one of those cliched action movies and like the mentor will tell the protagonist like, you will know when you're ready until you are ready. Like, you know you know that feeling, right?
Oh yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah, so for me, I wanted to wait until I feel like I am ready, that I feel like I've grown enough as a video creator in order to actually make the animation look back that would be well deserved for the legacy of Disney. And I'm not sure if it was either for Ralph Bakshi or for The Thief and the Cobbler. It was during that time, like many years later, that suddenly I was thinking about like future animation lookbacks to do, and then I realized, you know what? I feel like they have grown, like animation lookback has grown to really become very professional enough. Like my research skills, my video making skills have grown quite significantly throughout the years. And it was going to be the 10th anniversary of my YouTube channel, of my YouTube career per se. And I felt like, you know what? At that point, I might as well go and actually do it. Let's actually do Animation Lookback Disney and then go from there. And it wasn't until I think it was around the end of August, I would say, somewhere. It's like either around the second half or around the end of August. That's when I officially started to work on the project, to actually get started, to get writing into Animation Lookback Disney. And then during that time, I remember you sent me an email that you wanted to ask me, like after I did the announcement that the next one would be Animation Lookback Disney, that you emailed me that you wanted to join in. Like, just wondering that's what I want to ask you, Logan. What is it that made you write me that email saying that you want to join on this project?
So basically, what made me consider doing that is I remember like I was like watching your animation look back of Pixar, and I remember like you used to do like those animation bits of like having like certain characters like will it be like Michael Eisner, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and all those like portraying like those anime skits and like make them like had a comedic effect. I thought to myself, what if Matt will want any like help regarding with that aspect? So I figure I emailed you about it, see if you're interested, and we just basically went from there. And I will say this, I remember getting in contact with you was kind of tough at first because I don't recall if you ever post your email somewhere. So what I ended up doing was I contact my other friend, South Jersey Sam, and he gave me your email, and so I figured I'd get in contact with you because I remember like before we started this project together, I did had you help me with one of my personal projects where I had you voice Fox McCloud for one of my Smash Unexpected videos.
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
yeah, and so when I saw you were like beginning to make this animation look back Disney Plus, I figured, yeah, I should probably message Matt about to see if he want to make this even more grand and more yeah, much more special compared to the first one. And so I messaged you about it, and then it all went from there.
Yeah, and it is true. One thing that I will say with your contribution is that you really added a magic that I would say was kind of lost in animation look back. Like that was something I used to do, like add in those like little animated bits. And like and I think we could both agree that those things usually take a long time to make, even if they're just like short little gags that are like around 20 to 30 seconds long. Like there's still like
Exactly.
a lot of hours in order to make, like in terms of the puppets, in terms of the animation. There was still a lot to do. Even back then when I was doing like animation look back Pixar, yeah, they might seem a little amateurish, but like even those took like so long in order to make. And like keep in mind, even with me, like I don't even have like any of the proper animation training in order to actually get them right. But it was something that I used to do back then in the older animation look backs. But nowadays, like when you do look back at stuff like the Ralph Bakshi look back or the Thief of the Cobbler look back, like you'll notice that a lot of them were missing. But Then you came
Right.
in, and I feel like not only you added that magic back to the animation look back with those little animated bits, but you really did elevate it in ways that I could never even imagine. I remember when you sent me those first animations, I was like blown away. Like this was almost like you really elevated to the point where it almost feels like it's television quality. Like
Uh,
I was aware,
I, I
I,
I
I,
do
I
remember you telling me that.
yeah, like I was aware. I was aware of your style. I know the type of animations that you would do. Like, yeah, seeing your videos and the type of quality that you would put onto them, that's one thing. But then, like, when you would go and do it for something like for my project, that just feels like, oh my God, like you're doing this for my project for something that, like this was an idea I had in my mind, and suddenly, like, you're really bringing it to life. That was something that really did blew me away. But I will say this though, it wasn't until the second one, I gotta say, it wasn't until in the second episode when you did the animation for the Disney strike, that's when I got a full idea of your style, of how you would go and create your animations. Actually, you know what? One thing I want to do throughout this is I want to show some clips. So hopefully you don't mind. Like during this time, we can actually go and watch some of these animations. In the meantime, just want to know where it would be. Is it yeah, this one. I just want to bring that or wait, is it this one? Well, it's like okay, yeah. Wait, I just want
It's
to
around for the Dumbo
okay,
one.
yeah. Yep, yep, this is the one. So, in the meantime, why don't we go and actually watch some clips? So, I actually got the animation here, so hold on, let's just check it out. Like since we are doing a look back, let's go and actually see some of these right here. So, oh my god. That is just amazing. That like that one, that's when I finally got the idea. I was like, "Oh, this is what we're about to get into." It's just like go all out, go wild. It's
Do you
just
want to?
yeah.
Do you want to tell like how do you send me? Do you want to tell them how do you send me the ideas for each skit?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so basically, what I do to Logan is that I would get like basically what I do is just I pitch him an idea with one paragraph. Like for example, what you just saw with the Disney strike is that I would go and write to Logan and I would pitch him several ideas of what to do for animations, and Logan would go and pick the ones that he would want to do, or with his time, with his life, like pick the ones that he think he would be able to actually accomplish to actually bring it out in time. But in the case here, like with the Disney strike, I would go and pitch to Logan one sentence of, or not one sentence, one whole paragraph describing what I'd like to see in this scene. So basically, tell Logan, all right, I want you to go and animate a scene where the Disney strike is happening and we see Walt Disney ready to duke it out against our Babbitt. And that would just be it. Like it would just be it would just be a simple phrase, a simple sentence like that, and I would just pitch it to Logan, and then I would leave him with the rest in terms of the creative aspect, and he would just go from there. And often he would just keep adding in to the extra effects, like it's not just Walt Disney brawling with Art Babbitt. You also added in Bill Titla from what I saw, and who was the other one that you added?
It's like Bill Melendez and the guy that animated Chernabog.
Yeah, yeah, Bill Titla.
Oh, that's just okay, yeah. And then also put in like Bill Melendez, the guy that ended up voicing Snoopy later on
Yeah, well, the
for
guy,
the
yeah, no,
Peanut.
he is like the lead, and he was pretty much the guy who was in charge later on of the. He was in charge of the whole Charlie Brown holiday specials. He's the guy who he pretty much defined the whole style of Charlie Brown in animation.
Right.
So yeah, like you would just go and add in so much more. I just pitch you the simple concept, and you just end up doing the rest.
And here's the thing about what some people not know about me is like I love to surprise people because the way I do my comedy is well, here's the thing. The number one rule for comedy is you've got to be unexpected because you got to like have the people be surprised by what you're going to be offering. Because if the audience can predict the joke that you're about to be doing, then you're not doing a great job being a comedic. I mean, it happens sometimes, but if your whole comedy is based on like predictability, then you're not doing that great a job. So what I tend to do with your stuff, Matt, is like you give me the info and all that stuff, and then I try to come up with like, ideas. And for the most part, I tend not to like tell you what I'm going to be doing with the animations. I mean, sometimes I'll like give you like some suggestions just in case. But
Mm-hmm.
for this one, I figure I want to go. I just want to like go out, make like a nice action scene, and that whole scene, like that whole like bit, pretty much took me like a whole day to animate because I was off that day, and so I pretty much spent most of my time like animating this while watching Stranger Things on the side, and so I just had like a blast, just like going as far as I can without going too graphic with like the brutalities, but yeah, it was a I just love animating fighting scenes, but man, did they take the longest to do.
Oh, of
And
course.
what's the funny thing about those is, like, whenever I do, like, any, like, fighting scenes, whether it comes to your stuff or for my personal stuff, I just basically I'm not sure it's, like, the right term to describe it, but animation ad lib in which I don't set up like storyboards or anything like that. I just go out. Just like if I have an idea, I'll just have Walt Disney punch him or have like Bill Miranda's like hold Walt Disney back. It just all comes to my mind as I'm animating. And sometimes like I'll have an idea, but sometimes I'll just like quickly change it to something else. And yeah, that whole thing is like it's just I just love it so much. And the same goes with the Oliver versus Littlefoot scene.
Oh,
That's another thing.
yes.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about that or should we wait a little bit?
No, 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 no. Go ahead. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
So another thing too with that one is like I with regarding to that scene, I know like whenever you do bring up Land Before Time or Oliver and Company, you always do that running gag in which it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly, where it showcases like those two films like going off and obviously like who will win the box office and whatever. So I figured put like a twist on it because I know you like sent me that idea was like see if you can come up with like a good idea like on how to like improve of this running gag. And so what I thought, like instead of like doing like the good and the bad, the ugly, I figured to go like full on Kingdom Hearts style, in which I have them like Littlefoot and Oliver set in the Sephiroth stage, and then I have them like duke them out. And the reason why I choose Kingdom Hearts is because there's a point where you mentioned like the critics and how I should get them involved. And I was quite sure how to do that at first if I would have said it like the good and bad and the ugly, but I figured why not just have Oliver just summon them like Kingdom Hearts? And that's where I came up with that style. And it's just like fun was like coming up with like these weird ideas that you would not expect out of this series. Like I just love the unexpected.
Oh, of course. Actually, I do have it right here. So, do you want to take the time to actually show it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So,
down.
yeah, that is true. I almost forgot that it was supposed to be based on a run like an old running gag I had, and just like make an updated it was all about making that updated version of that joke. So let's just take a moment to actually just watch the clip here. Wait a minute. I just realized something. Hold on a sec. I just realized technically there's no sound. Sorry about that. Okay. Wow. Okay, I didn't expect that. Sorry about that, folks. Maybe this will help.
Their
Ah,
competition.
there we go.
So
Okay, let's back that out actually.
when the film was
There we
released on
go.
November 18th,
Wow, sorry
1988,
about that, folks.
it wasn't alone. On the exact same day as Oliver and Company, Spielberg and Bluth put out their latest animated feature, The Land Before Time. It was a moment when Disney had to finally prove their worth by directly facing their competition. So who came out victorious from this epic animated battle? Well, at the box office, Oliver managed to beat out Littlefoot domestically with $53 million, but The Land Before Time did get the upper hand with the worldwide number, even if Oliver got re-released to boost the total to $74 million. As for which movie critics preferred,
Quick, give that jerk over there 2 thumbs down! His film contains very frightening scenes that would haunt my nightmares! Think of the children! Mother? No, wait!
there was no contest.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, you definitely brought it to another level. But
Yeah.
you know that's also another interesting thing considering about Animation Lookback. What I do find to be very surprising with the contribution of the animation is that it's not just you. Usually it's not usually you who would go and make everything. Like usually with me, I'm just used to do like the entire production from beginning to end, but you would go and also get the help of many different artists and many different voice actors to go and actually help out into the project as well, including this one with the Oliver and Company versus Land Before Time. Like you had other voice actors add in to voice Oliver and Littlefoot. Did you also hire a background artist for this one?
I did, yeah. I hired Victoria to help provide like pretty much all the backgrounds that you see when it regards to like all the 2D animated stuff. Yeah, she is really helpful when it comes to that kind of stuff because yeah, she really does a great job in like adding all the details and all. And one of my personal favorites of hers when it comes to backgrounds was when we did the Sword in the Stone segment where I have like the Super Smash
Yes.
Brothers. I basically gave her like the background template to use, but also added in like both Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty's castle in the background just to add more to the details. And yeah, she did a really great job. And this
Yeah.
is the thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
what?
on. No,
I
no,
was
no.
gonna say like as mentioned, you brought it up. Like I remember yesterday when I like joined in that chat wall for the final episode. Everybody's asking me, "How did you get the voice actors and how did you get the everybody else to like help you contribute with this project?" And I will say, like, I've worked with these people before in the past when it comes to my own videos. And so yeah, I work with them before in the past, and I figure it'll be fun to have bring in some of them to join in with me when it comes to like certain like voices and all that stuff. And then there'll be sometimes in which I'll go and like find somebody like help me with like more additional work and all that stuff. I can't find a specific voice for that role, or if I can't, or something like that. But yeah, it's really great to bring them on board as well because, like you said before in the past, it is like this huge collaboration project, and it's just really fun.
And even in the chat wall right now, there are two people that are mentioned a lot, actually, that they continuously bring up. One of them, of course, is Elsie Lovelock for her performance during the Fantasia 2000 animation, doing the voice of the Disney princesses, and even the movie announcer, and even adding in her own singing contribution to the song, to the little song in there as well. And another one, and even I have to admit, is one of my personal favorite voice actors that you brought in is Da Wilstonator for his performance as Jeffrey Katzenberg. Like his
Oh
contribution in
yeah.
that, oh my god, it's just beautiful. Like that definitely is a case where like, yeah, he may not sound anything like Jeffrey Katzenberg, but his performance is just so top notch. It's just
And that's
amazing to keep hearing him.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing about Will is like I've been working with him ever since like back in 2013 because he will like help me voice for like some of my videos and all that stuff. But I've been aware of his stuff for a while because I remember like going to his YouTube channel, and I gotta say he does a great job when it comes to over the top acting. Because if you want to talk about like somebody has like gives so much a great energy towards like a certain role, like would be like over the top anger, over the top hilarity, and all that stuff. He's the man. Like he gives that great vocal performance that I it just like kills me every time I hear any of his takes. Like he does a phenomenal job, and I just love bringing him for any project, would it be like for my personal stuff or for this look back. And I figured with the reason I gave him the role as Jeffrey is because I feel like and let me just make it clear, I have nothing against Jeffrey Katzenberg. I mean, I don't know the guy. I mean, he just seems like I mean, it's whatever. But every time you hear like stories about this guy, it just seems like he's just like this egotistical maniac that I feel like if I give him like this over top personality, it just brings life to this character. And I just feel like it just makes it even works. And one of my personal favorites when it comes to Jeffrey Katzenberg is when the first time I did animate him was when he's like reacting towards the Black Cauldron. And
Yes.
I don't know, I'm not sure if you want to like play that clip.
Yeah, I can do that actually. I mean, I just got it right here. We just did we just did the
Yeah,
Land
it's in
Before
the same
Time one.
episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the same episode. Let me just go and quickly find it. Oh my god, yeah, I remember that one. Like, oh my god. Let's see. Yeah, right. Yep, this is the one. Yeah, the big intro for the Wilstonator. Hold on a sec. So let me just go and set it up. All right, so this should do it. All right, let's hear
When
this one.
Jeffrey started his job and had his first look at what the animators were doing with the Black Cauldron, he was utterly shocked at how dark and violent it was, especially near the end when the Horned King summoned the Cauldron-born army. He knew that this moment would horrify kids and families, so he demanded them to edit out certain moments to calm things down. The crew was reluctant to do so, so Jeffrey brought the movie to the editing bay and edited the film himself. Now, keep in mind that editing has a completely different definition in animation, and this was Jeffrey's first time being involved with an animated feature. So when he said he was going to edit the feature himself, what was actually happening was that Katzenberg was messing up the whole picture without any idea what he was doing.
Jeffrey! You know what they say. One must become the enemy! Come on now, let's be mature about this.
Okay, yeah, that was beautiful, man.
And oh, thank you. And I'm sure some people will be like, Logan, what's with the skull? And it's like, why not? And that's another thing too, is like that's what my humor is like. I'll just like throw in something just completely random that makes sense with the story, and it just like works beautifully. And yeah, I just love that doing that kind of stuff. And yeah, it just shows like Jeffrey Katzenberg is one of my personal favorite characters to animate because later on down the road, when it comes to like him talking about Pocahontas, that's where things get like I'll be honest, I was quite sure if that went a little bit too far when it comes like him making out with the money.
Nah, that
Like-
seems realistic to me.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is that. Oh, that reminds me. When it comes to like these, like when it comes to like the certain skits, it's like there'll be like sometimes which you'll give like an idea for something, and I mean you'll give me like a skit, and I'll come up with the ideas. But part of me feels like I'm not sure if I'm going too far with it or not. Like I'm not sure if your channel is like specifically made for. Like, I'm not sure if you got to keep it more like I want to say friendly, but more just like a general audience. Like a good example is it's like you mentioned about Elsie and like the princesses part. Originally, I was thinking about like having like you know the part where actually do you want to play that clip by chance?
Oh, you want to do that now? I was honestly hoping you would ask. Oh my god, it's honestly one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's one of my personal favorites too. But yeah, we
Okay.
can watch it now.
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's check the oh my god. We actually have quite a story with that though. Like that is true. There is a lot to discuss about this. So let's go and check out this one. Let's check out the Fantasia 2000 animation.
The one who first thought about the piece was actually not from any of the filmmaking team, but rather, it was Michael Eisner, who got the idea after attending his son's graduation, since the piece is known by many as a staple for those ceremonies. As for what would be represented visually, Eisner thought about presenting a large wedding featuring all the Disney princesses with their lovers, each carrying their future children as they say their I do's. For the animators, this was absolutely horrifying. Because not only would it look like the characters were a part of some freaky religious cult ritual, but also, if Disney presented all the princesses pregnant next to their true loves, then it would lead the audience to think about the process of how they were, how can I put this? Getting knocked up.
We did more than just kiss. It's clear he didn't miss.
Also, just a reminder, most of the Disney princesses are below the age of 18.
Ultimately, Michael agreed to scrap it, but still really wanted them to use the piece.
Oh my! Ariel? Yeah, it's too late from our end, unfortunately.
Coming soon to own on video and Disney DVD. Good luck with this one, parents.
Yep. Oh my god. We have, like I said, we have quite a story with this one.
Man, yeah. Do you want to start how you came up with this idea?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so among all the facts in Animation Lookback Disney, this is the one that a lot of people consider to be the craziest. Now, this was actually something that I remember I picked up from the book Disney War, and if you guys haven't read that one, I highly recommend that you guys go and do so. It's quite a phenomenal book that actually chronicles the entire history of the Michael Eisner era of the Walt Disney Company. But anyways, I remember there was at one point they actually talked about the making of Fantasia 2000 because because it was a significant part of Disney animation history, considering it was Roy E. Disney's passion project. And there was at one point they mentioned about how Michael Eisner wanted to do Pomp and Circumstances and that he really wanted that song to be a part of the movie. And that's when he suggested the idea of having all the Disney princesses come together as like this big wedding ritual and all of them are pregnant, to which everyone responded like, oh, hell no, absolutely not. And that's when I knew that, like, if we were going to have an animated bit for Fantasia 2000, it had to be for that one to show the idea of how, like, what would it look like and how messed up it would actually be. So I proposed this to Logan, and we were, this is, like, even though he wanted to keep stuff as a surprise, we were actually going back. This was the one that we really did go back and forth on this to make sure we wanted to get this right, because we really were getting into some risky territory. Like, we
Quite
were
risky.
Yeah, I mean, we were actually, like, we're pretty much trying to do a gag that is mostly about underage wedding and underage pregnancy. These are very touchy subjects, and we try to figure out, like, what to do, like, in order to actually pull that off, especially the scene with Aurora and Philip starting to get it on. Like, how do we go and present that? Because in the movie, like, still in Sleeping Beauty, Aurora is still 16 though, so we do have to find a way in order to be careful. So Logan, do you want to take the rest on this?
Yeah, because my original idea was, so that whole bit was Aurora Philip was my idea, but the more I thought about it, I figured I need to talk to Matt about it, because my original idea was basically the setup was going to be the same, but we do showcase Philip. But I originally thought of like having Philip actually taking off his shirt, showing his like his 16-pack abs and all that stuff. And then I was really close on like actually considering like showcasing like a silhouette of them two actually like supposedly doing it. But the more I thought about it, I figured I should probably talk to Matt about this, because I don't want to go. I mean, here's the thing for my stuff. Like, I'm not the type of person that'll go make stuff that are like rated R. That's not my cup of tea. Like, sometimes I'll throw in like a bit of violence, but nothing to the point where it's like I'll go too far when it comes to my humor. And so I thought about it. I talked to Matt to give his thoughts, and definitely went back and forth in it. And so what we ended up doing is like, okay, I won't have Philip take off his shirt. I'll just like have him take off his cape, throw off the side so it'll land the owl, and just do like a quick shot of like Aurora like filling his arms, them look giving like the 60 eye to each other, and then start like making out, just them kissing and all that stuff, and then fade out to the castle, and then to give like the illusion that they're actually like supposedly doing that, just had like fireworks in the background, and then with that lyric, which if you really think about the lyrics to that song, it's pretty messed up. It's clear he didn't miss. Like, I think that's like the most I'll do when it comes to like risque jokes like that. And so, and what's even makes it even more funnier is like with like Michael Eisner's reaction, and then with Roy's line, like, just a reminder, they're below 18. And so Michael Eisner's face towards that just says it all.
Yeah.
And so it's just like one of those things where it's like, I don't want to go too far with it, but at the same time, it's like, I'd much rather play it safe. And so, yeah, it's like one of those, yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things where it's like, I should like, yeah, I just figured get your input and all that stuff. And yeah, it was just interesting. Yeah, that whole skit was pretty interesting because had it if Michael Eisner didn't mention about the pregnancy part for that skit, I'm sure it would have been like fine. Like, I don't know, like if just like have them like in a line getting married and all that stuff, I can definitely see that like being like a cute segment. But the fact he threw it in pregnancy into it, it's yeah, it's
Yeah,
that's all I gotta
exactly.
say.
And plus, there might be some inconsistencies because technically there are some that are already married, like Cinderella and Ariel. Like, technically, they already had their wedding scene at the end of their respective movies. So it's like, it's kind of weird
Maybe
seeing
it's
them
double.
have. I don't
Maybe
know.
it's double the wedding. Double right? I don't know. Maybe it's trying to commit to its own continuity. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. And just out of curiosity, like when you pitched it to Elsie Lovelock, like, did she question anything about it, or did she like, okay, let's do
She
this?
No, she did not question anything about it. She just like went with it. Yeah, she was like pretty excited to do it because, like I said, I worked with her before for a previous project, so I figure I'd bring her on board, and she was definitely down for it. She recorded all of her lines, and yeah, she didn't say anything regarding the script itself, so she was pretty cool with it.
Nice. And also, just a quick thing to mention is that that's actually one of the very rare moments where even I actually did some voiceover work, and
Yeah,
like
with you
the
as Roy.
yeah, it's not all the time, but like it's like if ever when you would not when you have a hard time like trying to find someone to do a voice, or whenever I feel like it's like I'm gonna try this out, like because I'm also partly a voice actor as well, like to
Hmm.
go and add in some voiceover roles. I think in total I only did 3 though. Like, I know I did Roy Disney. I also did Eric Goldberg as well. And also like just like this week actually, just a last minute addition that I did Roger Rabbit for the Roger Rabbit segment in the last video. So yeah, like it did happen that I did do some voices, but it's one of those rare moments that I did, and it's fun to also be involved in like those animations as well. And also one thing I want to add as well is that one thing I do remember is that I recall there was a point where you actually posted this on TikTok, and that went
Oh yeah.
viral. Like,
Basically, yeah. So what happened with that is like after that episode was released, I figured, I might as well upload that clip up to Twitter, to my Twitter account, TikTok, and all that stuff. Twitter, it did pretty all right for my followers on there, but TikTok, oh my god, like I uploaded, I so basically what happened was I uploaded the clip, but instead of actually having the audio of you narrating, I just basically replaced it with an instrumental, like a violin cover of Play Dates, and yeah, I'm gonna open up to see how much like views and likes it's got because I was like taken by surprise like how big it got. Oops. Do, 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 do,
yep, you turned it on all right.
do. So yeah, it's got like 1.1 million views and 140,000 likes. Like,
Dang.
I'm not sure if you can see that right now.
I mean, like, I think it helps when you add in the title. Like, if you put it down a little bit,
Oh yeah,
yeah, like,
that.
but yeah, the fact that you also added like the title of Disneyland After Hours, it's like, yeah, like that's definitely going to get to grab some attention there.
And what's funny is like I didn't give context to this basically. So every time like wherever somebody like watch it, they'll leave a comment is like, "What did I just watch? My childhood is ruined." And it's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean that to happen."
It's the
But
internet. There are definitely things that are a lot worse than what you showed.
exactly, yeah. But yeah, as far as like yeah, like I said, as most like when it comes to like humor, that's like the most I'll do when it comes to like more adult humor, like because I try to keep things like more PG because that's how I
Mhm.
tend to roll. Like if you go to my channel, like with the exception of one video, all my stuff is basically like there's no heavy language, there's no like adult humor and all that stuff. And the one video I mentioned was my Rick and Morty meets My Little Pony video, and that's mainly because I did okay, off topic. I did write a script. I did originally write a script where it's like PG, but I showed it to my friend and she was like, "Yeah, you can't make Rick and Morty PG. It's impossible." And I was like looking at script too. I was like, "Yeah, it won't. I won't do him justice if I have him not swear and all that stuff." So that's like the main exception. And even then, I bleep it out on YouTube because I don't know. I'm kind of like worried if like people will like take like offense when it comes to like hearing like cuss words on the My Little Pony video, which is a parody, but that's a different topic.
I mean, like it can happen. It's like I'm pretty much the same thing as you. Is that I do often push the envelope from time to time, but generally I keep everything like on my in terms of like my internet presence or in terms of like my work. I keep it PG for the most part, and
Right. And I think
like they're rare, but it does happen a few times when like some people get offended if I do throw in an actual swear, like I would say damn or I would say hell. And like even to this day, like if I go into the bigger swears, like trust me, I'll say fuck and people would be just shocked about it. It's like
yeah, and
like
you mostly like censored that with a duck sound, right? Right?
yeah, generally yes, and usually during that time, like you know, like often with those tier lists of like who could say like who could drop an f bomb and who can't. I'm probably like on the level of like very rarely or should never say the f bomb.
Yeah, I think I'm in that level too because yeah, I think it'll be more surprising if people were to like see us like swear and all that stuff. But I do recall like the most I ever heard you like swear in this look back was when you called Pinocchio a douchebag.
Yeah, and that was mostly because that's just part of the original script. That was just like from like
Right.
a callback from the first episode. And you know what? I actually do have a funny story about that because like this was way back like when I started making the original. I remember for that one like I was actually debating on like what to call Pinocchio. Like it was either to call Pinocchio a douchebag or an asshole. And I think like I think I talked to my sister and she was the one who suggested to me it was like, go with douchebag, it'll be safer. So I just decided it's like, yeah, it's more I guess it's more PG to say douchebag than asshole. So I decided to just throw in douchebag and just go from there. And I mean, like
Yeah, that's
I was like 16 going on 17 back then, and adding it
right.
to here now, it's just because of I just wanted to do a bit of a callback. And I think it is safe to say, like, I know like douchebag is a bit of a swear word, but I think anyone who has actually read the original Carlo Collodi book would say, yep, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, the original Pinocchio was pretty messed up. Like, if you think the Disney version is pretty messed up, you have not read the original story of Pinocchio.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that bit of Pinocchio, like killing Jiminy Cricket, it's accurate.
Yeah, that's what I actually asked as well. Like when I did ask you about the animation, it's like, can you just squish Jiminy Cricket with a mallet? Like that was because of that. It was because I
And
wanted
what's
to add that joke.
Right, and what's great about that joke in particular is, like, you think you're just, like, showcasing, like, a JPEG of an image from the original Pinocchio, but once after you said douchebag, that's where I started, like, pulling up the animation of Pinocchio actually squishing Jiminy, and it's like, "Whoa, I was not expecting that to happen." Because you think it's just gonna be, like, a still image, but nope.
Oh no, it's much more than that. By the way, I just want to go into the chat wall actually, and I want to ask if you got, and I figured why not? Like, if you guys have any more questions that you would like to know, feel free to ask. If there's any questions that you would like to know, like if you want to ask me or Logan regarding anything that we have so far in the animation look back. So, uh,
Yeah, I'm
let's
definitely down for any questions, just don't ask anything personal.
yeah. What's your address?
That actually happened to me once. Somebody legit asked me, "What's your address?" And I immediately blocked them on Twitter.
Yeah,
It's like, why would you ask me that? Seriously.
yeah. Unfortunately, some people don't understand the concept of boundaries. Let's see. I think I got one here so far. Why did you change the name of the original Walt Disney Animation Studios Animation Lookback to 2009, 2010, and old when Animation Lookback Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus has a plus in it? I've been asking you for 2 years on my YouTube channel, but you never showed up. Showed my question throughout the Ask Animat videos during the remake. Okay, well, okay. The reason why I changed the titles on that is because I wanted to make a distinct difference between the old look back and this new look back. Like, in the old look back, I can't just keep it as the history of Walt Disney Animation Studios. I want to clarify that it is the old version. Like, this was the dated version that was done during 2009 and 2010. Whereas this new version, like this is the updated one that is made between 2019 and 2021. So it's more updated. There's a lot more facts. And also, I have grown as a creator and a researcher and stuff like that. So, like, there's a lot more to it. So it's mainly to distinct the difference between the two. So it's not like you can jump to the plus version of part one and then suddenly you'll find yourself like where the quality like dips significantly if you go to the original for part two.
Right. Oh, curious question. When you came up with the idea for the adding plus to the title, how long ago did you come up with that?
It was ever since 2010. It was ever since I made that announcement. Like that
Oh,
was the
okay.
title throughout the whole thing. I
I
always
was
wanted
quite
to
sure.
call it plus, and that's basically what it is. It's taking the first animation look back Disney and just really go all out with the plus. Like just add more to what I did before.
Yeah, the reason why I asked because I was quite sure that was like perfect timing because you released the first part the month before Disney Plus was released.
Yeah, no, that is pure coincidence. Like it just worked out very well for that. And also I wanted to add, just in case if people would want to go and ask me about that, one thing I will say is I feel like honestly the timing of everything with Animation Look Back Disney Plus is perfect, especially with how I ended off on Frozen 2. Because not only, like, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, let's go and actually do the whole history up until the end of the 2010 decade. But what I didn't know, especially back then, was that it would be perfect to end off on Frozen 2 because this is technically the entire history of Walt Disney Animation Studios during, before the time of the pandemic. Like this, it is actually perfect to just chronicle everything up to there because nowadays, yeah, like you can imagine how this pandemic has seriously thrown the history of everything into a massive curveball, especially with Disney, where they would have to keep on delaying many of their movies, especially with Raya, and how like things are pretty much complicated with its release, with both in theaters and on Disney Plus, where even to this day people are constantly arguing about if the movie is successful or if it's a flop just by judging by the box office and stuff like that.
I wouldn't know. I still haven't seen that film yet. I'm gonna wait till it's like free on Disney Plus
Okay.
because Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm the only guy living in this house. I don't want to pay $30 to watch a movie by myself.
Yeah,
uh,
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, and I believe with Raya, it's coming out in June, I believe. It's going to be out for
right.
free. Either that, or if you really want to, the DVD and Blu-ray is going to be coming out a bit of a month before. I think they already announced it's going to be like in mid-May.
I think
So
they did release it digitally now, but I mean, I'm gonna wait till it's like free on Disney Plus. So
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Does anybody else have a question? I just want to see if there are any other questions out. Let's see. Oh, okay, the Jasper Pie thing. Yeah. Someone is
oh,
asking me how come I didn't keep Jasper Pie as Roger Rabbit because from what they saw on Patreon, okay. Oh, so yeah, might as well go and mention that. All right, so the thing is with like nothing against Jasper Pie, but for those of you who don't know, in one of the original originally for the last part with Roger Rabbit, Logan, you actually brought on board Jasper Pie to do the voice of Roger, but we both agreed at the last minute to go and change out the voice. Now, this was a decision that admittedly I made. This is nothing against Jasper. The reason is because it's mainly because of the quality of the voice. So I'm just gonna bring it up here. I might as well go and immediately skip it. Is this the wait? Is this the updated one? No, wait, hold on a sec. Oh, hopefully did I still keep it? Okay, I might have to do a little bit more searching. Sorry about that. I just need to go and I know I still have
so
it in
yeah,
my files. Let's
so yeah,
see.
what happened with that is like I will admit this: the last bit of dialogue between Michael and Roger was literally a last minute decision from my end. Like, because originally I was just gonna have like everything played out like silently as Matt like narrates it, but I figured like it'll be like a fun little gag and have like an exchange between Michael and Roger. And I was kind of like stuck to who to get for Roger Rabbit. So I originally contacted Big Apple Pie, who also voices Michael Eisner, to do Roger. He sent me his audition, and it sounded all right, but it didn't sound like close enough to Roger Rabbit. So I figured I kind of like went on like see if I can find somebody else. And so I went to like Discord, this one Discord chat I'm part of with like talk to some of my friends and see if they're interested. And so it's either going to be like Will or Jasper to do like the voices. So I figured I'd talk to Jasper since I figured he hasn't been part of this project yet, so I might as well like get in contact with him. He sent me all over the audio, and I mean, for what it is, I like the audio because I also worked with him in the past before because he does voices for my videos as well. And so I use that clip, I send over to you, and for me personally, I didn't really catch on the audio difference between Big Apple Pies and his until you brought it up. And yeah, I do see where you're coming from, and Joey, if you're watching this, I truly do apologize for not ending up using your takes. So
No,
yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
I'm gonna take the blame on it, Joey. I am so sorry. Like maybe like some other time, like I can bring you on board for like a project if need be for an extra voiceover thing. But to
Yeah.
help you give you a better example, I got the original clip right over here. So if you want to hear the difference of what we are talking about.
You are one lucky rabbit.
I would say that tile belongs to Oswald, but when's the last time anybody talked about him?
You can hear a bit of a distinct difference in the audio quality. And I mean, Jasper's performance, it was pretty fine. It was solid. It was all right. But it's just like going from Michael Eisner with Big Apple Pie where he's got very solid audio and then you jump into Jasper where you can hear that there is that major distinct difference where it sounds like it was pretty quick. It was a last minute decision. Like basically picked up. It almost sounded like it was recorded through a phone, but that's probably not the case. But it's just the audio quality is not up there. And for me, I personally feel like I keep in mind for me, I've been working with audio for many years with these videos and doing like auditions for voiceover work and stuff like that. So like I've pretty much grown to have a major ear to have like the audio quality and stuff like that. So it was a bit for me it was a bit like something that I feel like I had to do at the last minute in order to make sure like everything is all good. And I was actually the one who actually took the place of Jasper and had to go and like I had to like it was a bit of a challenge to try to match exactly the timing of his dialogue, but also like not just that, but it's a combination of like make sure the timing is good and also do my own impression of Roger Rabbit. It's not easy trying to combine the two. Like sometimes your brain is on one side and then your brain is on another side.
Yeah,
So-
by the way, your Roger impression is really great.
Oh, thank you so much. Like I
You're
did
welcome.
send you like several takes just in case, but
Right. And it wasn't that hard for me to like splice that audio with the original take because it was like pretty simple. But yeah, speaking of voice qualities, I will admit I don't have the perfect mic. Like sometimes when I do voices, I either use my Blue Yeti, which you can see right here, or if I'm like yelling my lines, I end up using my phone because when I yell on this mic, it peaks bad. Like, and I do have like
Mhm.
this big vocal voice when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because I was quite sure how you feel when it comes to like my audio because I'll be honest, it's not the greatest quality because I'm not a voice actor. I mean, yeah, I'll supply voices here and there, but for the most part, I'm just a guy behind the scenes. I don't see myself being an actor.
Yeah, I will admit there are times when I can hear you, like I can hear the quality. It's like it's not as great. Like in the Frozen segments, like I can hear your voice. It's like it's not there. One thing I will say that is complete bullcrap though is what you just said there in terms of your acting skills. Honestly, hearing your cartoons, man, like especially when you would play the Animal Crossing villager, like
Oh.
often you can be pretty solid.
Oh, thank you. And that's the thing. I'm just basically using my normal voice. Like I haven't taken any acting classes or anything like that. I just look at the script, I just give it the best performance I can, and I just roll with it. And people might know from my past videos that I also tend to voice Batman here and there, which is also one of my personal favorite voices to do. And I mean, I'll do voices here and there, but don't expect me to be like the next Raw Paulson or anybody like that.
Hmm.
Like it's fun, but I don't expect me to do Shakespeare. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the most part, in my experience, a lot of it you do end up just doing your regular voice. Like
Right.
I've actually done a few cartoons and stuff like that, and for the most part, they would just ask my regular voice. Like there have been times I would have to play like a character and I have to alter my voice, but for the most part, your general voice is what they're gonna mainly go for. Like, and believe it or
Exactly.
not, there have been times where I actually landed auditions and I use the exact same voice that I would for my videos. Like the same kind of high pitched, like a high energetic, yeah, high pitch, high energetic style narrations. There have been times people have hired me and paid me to actually provide that kind of voice for their projects.
Right. And some people do that. Like I know like there's some voice actors that just use their normal voice to voice like multiple characters. A good example is I can't think of the name at the top of my head, but it's a guy that voiced Bob from Bob's Burgers, Archer from
Yes, I know what you
Archer.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of his name at the top of my head, but he literally uses his own that voice, and yet it doesn't come across as distracting. Like that's what shows how great of a voice actor he is.
Oh, absolutely. It really is more the delivery on the performance more so than it is on the like on the sound of the voice itself. Uh,
Right.
but yeah, with that said, are there any other questions people want to ask just to go back into this? Or Logan, if you also have a question that you want to ask as well. Oh, actually, there is one. Hold on a sec. Sorry. Okay, which part of Animation Lookback is your favorite?
Oh, that's tough. I know I mentioned like some of my personal favorite animated skits, but I'm trying to think of another personal favorite of mine. Ah,
I mean, we mentioned a lot already. Like, I know I've already mentioned a lot of my favorites, like the Disney Strike fight, the Disney, yeah, the Disney Prince, the Fantasia 2000 bit. What
Right.
else?
Oh, I will say, in that same episode, the Fantasia 2000, I would say, one of my other personal favorites is, like, you know that skit I did with the dinosaurs with, like, the puppets and all that stuff?
Yes, the dinosaur.
Yeah. So what happened with that one is like I spent way too much time on the Disney princess scene that because you also sent me like the skits for both dinosaurs and the Emperor's New Groove. And I want to do at least like one more so that way I don't feel like I'm just doing just the one. But I spent so much time on the Fantasia one is like I didn't really have much time to work on the others. So I figured at least for the dinosaur skit, I figured what if I do something that's, like, cheap looking, but still entertaining enough? Like, I'm not sure you wanna play that clip.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Like, whatever. Ask me what clip to play and I'll do it, dude. I'm just gonna clarify
Okay.
that right now. So,
Yeah.
here, let me just go and play this right now. I got it up and ready.
Walt Disney Pictures presents Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
In Verhoeven and Tippett's original version, the story had a darker tone and told in the style of a nature documentary, where a Styracosaurus named Woot and his little lemur friend named Suri try to survive and escape the wrath of a Tyrannosaurus Rex named Grozny.
Arrgh, it's feeding time. Prepare to die.
At the end, the two big dinos fight, with Woot being the winner, but it didn't really matter because the big asteroid came by anyways and made all the dinosaurs extinct,
Wait, what?
leaving Suri and all the other lemurs as the only survivors.
Do 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 do.
Oh boy, that was beautiful.
I remember when I was, like, watching through the chat wall, and I remember, like, when that scene played, the one thing that everybody mentioned was Zoomafoob, because I used, like, one of the lemurs that looks exactly like Zoomafoob,
Yeah,
you know?
Zabumafu, you mean?
Zaboomafoo, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I seen, like, everybody replying, like, that comment is like, I didn't make that intentional because I was trying to, like, match up the lemurs that are, like, closer to the ones in the film, but, still get to laugh.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true. I mean, like, as long as people enjoy it, then like it's all good.
exactly. Though I will say this, if I had to pick my favorite part that's not a scene that I animated in your series,
Well,
what?
and by the way, they mentioned like a part. They mean like a full video. Like
Oh, a full
I think that's what
part.
they mean, like a full video of like part one, part two, or stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha. I thought it meant, like, a certain section. What do I think about it? Do you have your favorite part, Matt?
For me, I might as well get mine out of the way. Honestly, it's so like as someone who like I'm the one who made all these, and this really does feel like picking your favorite child. So honestly, it's so hard to
Exactly.
do so. I think for me, I would have to say it like the first one definitely has a special place in my heart because it is the first one to launch everything. And also, I would say the last part as well, like the beginning and the ending because like I just finished that one off. And I mean, that is also my first ever video that exceeded over an hour, and I feel like I've done such a great job at it, like to really like to take like three major movies that end up becoming so long for each segment, like for like they're all like each of them were like almost 20 minutes each, like with Mary Poppins, Roger Rabbit, and and Song of the South. And I remember, like, I think I spent more than a month on each of those segments. Like, even for the animations that I sent you, it was probably like a month ago that I sent you my recommendations, or like, or at least for the first one. Like, it was a
Yeah.
long time, but I did
Yeah, 'cause
spend, yeah.
oh, sorry, I was gonna say, I remember you sent me the skit ideas for Mary Poppins and Roger Rabbit, but it took you, like, I think, like, a few more weeks until you sent me the Song of the South ones.
Yeah,
'Cause
it did, admittedly.
yeah, because when you sent me the actual file the day before you posted live on YouTube, and I saw the time lapse, is like, "Oh, an hour long. Oh my." So, but yeah, yeah, that part turned out really great.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to choose my personal favorite part is what number was it where you talked about Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet?
Ooh, good question. I think that is no, not 12. I think it's 11. Yeah, part 11.
Okay, part 11. Yeah, that's one of my personal favorites because the two skits I provide for that one, I considered like the biggest I've done for the series because you got the one with like Stitch and Tono, which fun fact, I was not aware that manga was a thing until Matt brought it up to me, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I mean, I know Stitch was popular in Japan, but they made him wait. So I look it up, and then I saw the pages from the manga, and I was like, "There's no way this is real. There's no way," because it's so out of place. Like, imagine if okay, imagine if Olaf was in Attack on Titan. Like, that's like a huge like misconnection right there. Like, you were just so I thought like I want to go out all wild with it. I got somebody to do like the artwork for both the character of the samurai and Tono, and then why I animated Stitch himself, just to give like this big contrast between like, these characters are so detailed, and you got Stitch because Stitch in that manga is like not detailed at all when compared to the other characters because all the other characters have like these shadings and like textures toward them, and you got Stitch as just this flat 2D character. I just thought that was like so hilarious, so I went with that. And then the other skit, which I think it's got to be like the biggest one we've done for this whole series, was that whole musical number of Michael Eisner.
Oh yes, a lot of people are like some people are really asking for that one. Do you want me to show it?
Show it.
All right, so I think this is the one. Yep, this is it. Okay, so I guess by popular demand, we might as well go and check let's go and check out the ending for this. So here we go. Let's just begin this one.
With computer animation taking over, Disney was viewed as old-fashioned. And not only were they failing to impress audiences, but it was starting to literally cost them as well. And if they ever hoped to survive in this new fully digital world, they would have to learn to adapt and start making their own fully computer animated features, meaning that they would have to make a lot of sacrifices along the way, including hand-drawn animation.
Oh, hand-drawn, you will be gone, you're clearly outdated. Read my lips and come to grips with the reality. We must let go of the past, since pencils are not meant to last. Say hello to the future with CG! So hand-drawn tends to pass on all of our profits. But stay calm, we will move on, take it from me. We'll make the next CG star. We won't even need Pixar. Computers will make our films a real trip. They'll no longer take a terminal dip. The rest it's golden, it has been chosen. Disney will be in 3D. Whoopee! So long! No more hand-drawn!
My God, that needs to be an MP3, man. We need to distribute this thing.
Oh man, that's funny. And you know what's interesting about that? That's also a pretty interesting skit right there. Because originally, Matt, when you sent me the idea for that one, it was like pretty simple the way you describe it. It's like I'm trying to think how you word it. Like, just have like Michael Eisner, just like how did you word that again? Do you remember?
I don't recall actually. One thing I do remember that for this thing specifically, like when we would go and do the transition, I feel like I wanted to do a bit of an experiment. It's like, why don't we end off the whole video with an animation? I'm sure Logan could think of a pretty solid idea on how to conclude it with going into the transition to CG animation. And I'm not, you know what? I saved my email, so I'm gonna go and try to look for it. Hold on a sec. It's gonna take a while, by the way, but yeah,
While you look for,
I remember that was something that we would go back and forth on, in terms of like the kind of idea. Even like I think I'd done a few revisions onto the yeah. Okay, so hold on a sec. Just wanna. Yeah, I think I got it right here. Yeah, let me just double check. Oh my God, is this during? Oh my God, that's what I remember. Oh my God, no, it's just sorry. I just realized that it was in September. Like part 11 was like after September, and that was during the time when I had a throat infection and I had to go to the emergency room. It just gave me that flashback. I'm sorry, but anyways, okay, so I got it right here. So here's the pitch that I gave to you to that scene. It's concluding the video with Michael Eisner, or the big heads at Disney Animation as well, acknowledging that they are in a new period of animation where computer animated films like Shrek, Ice Age, and the Pixar films have taken over and have to make the tough decision of sacrificing hand-drawn animation in order to adapt. So that was the
Right.
pitch that I gave to you.
And then I sat on it, and I was like trying to come up with like ideas of like how to execute it. Like maybe just showcase like a montage of like Michael Eisner just like stealing all the pencils and papers and just like throw them in a dumpster somewhere and all that stuff. But then it hit me, why not if I make this into a musical segment from like based it off the Prince Ali reprise from Aladdin? Because I just rewatched that movie the other day, and after I saw that scene, I figured maybe we can end off like that. Just have like this big musical number of Michael Eisner just basically just destroying 2D, and I thought that'd be like a nice, cool way to like end things off.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god, it was a
And then
big
we
idea. But yeah.
It was. I was gonna say, yeah, I mentioned it to you and you like the idea, and so I basically wrote the lyrics for it first. I sent to you, and then you made some revisions, adding like additional lyrics that are much better than my original ideas. And so we get that. The trickiest part with that one was finding the instrumental score for Prince Ali Reprise because surprisingly enough, it's really hard to come by.
Mm-hmm. True.
So it took me like I want to say like a good week or so to find that instrumental score as I'm like animating the whole thing. And this is one of those cases where I literally spent pretty much 24/7 on this skit because there were like some days where I stayed up like past midnight just to get like a certain scene done. Because it was at the point where that month in particular, that was like I was like the most busiest when it comes to my job. And something to keep in mind is that I do have a job and personal life and all that stuff. All the stuff I'm doing for YouTube, it's all for fun. Like it's more of like a hobby for me just to like create like stuff on for YouTube. And so when it comes to that week in particular, like I literally just like so I after I'm done with work, I'll give myself like an hour break. Then I'll go to my computer and start animating. And it that week in particular, like 3 days straight, I was past midnight. I want to say I didn't go to bed till like I want to say four or three in the morning just to get like a certain like scene done. And it was all worth it because I made it like the best I can. And I will say the only nitpick I had with that scene is I could have drawn Mickey Mouse a little better. Like he seemed off to me by that.
I
But
mean, like it's Mickey. Like like you'd think it would be easy to draw him, but at the same time, he's so iconic that it also makes it very easy to draw him, not to get him off per se.
right. And this is the thing. Oh, that's just another thing too. When it comes to like where I make like draw like 2D characters, like I try to keep it like on model the best I can. And sometimes I do it all right. Others I feel I'm just a tad bit off, especially with the princesses. Like I feel like I didn't did that great job, like having them be on model. I mean, Tiana did pretty good, but the others, it just seems like they're not easy to draw.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just so detailed and all that stuff. But it's still fun to experiment with all that stuff. And speaking of experimentation, actually, let me conclude by saying, like, yeah, the Michael Eisner Prince Ali's bit is definitely a fun one to work on. Just so fun yet very complicated.
Yeah, actually, Logan, I just thought up of one major question, considering that this is all about Animation Lookback Disney. If there is one thing, if there is like one major significant thing that you have learned about Disney throughout the series, what would it be? What would be like the standout thing to you that you've learned the most through Animation Lookback Disney Animation Plus?
Well, first off, the Disney pregnant thing from Fantasia. That was one that took me by surprise. Um, the main thing really that took me by surprise because here's the thing, I'm a huge Disney fan, so most of the stuff that I watched from Animation Look Like Black, I basically already knew. but it's fun to hear like somebody else's like perspective on like how they execute like the wording and all that stuff. But the one thing that took me by surprise by memory was Song the South because yeah, that film is controversial, but it could have been a lot worse. A whole lot worse.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before we started on this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. Like the fact that they actually did try to put in effort into making it not
No,
racist per se.
yeah. And yeah, that took me by surprise there. There's that, and I'm trying to think what else that took me by surprise that I didn't learn because there's just like so much info that it's hard to keep track like what I learned, what I didn't learn. Yeah, there's just like so much that on top of my head I can't really like besides those two, it's like I couldn't really think of anything else. I mean, yeah, that's yeah. Everything else, like I said, I basically knew about, but it's always fun to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, I think for me, if there is one thing that really did stand out, and this is something that I might even consider like doing a whole video dedicated to this, but honestly, this might sound like an insane statement, but it's how much Chicken Little saved the entire Walt Disney Company. Like, if you really think about it, like the impact of Chicken Little's success really did lead up to the Walt Disney Company to become where it is right now. Because keep in mind, like, Chicken Little was, like, released during the end of the Michael Eisner era and the start of the Bob Iger era. And that was a point when Disney was, like, at a total down point, especially for Disney animation. And because Chicken Little was a massive success, that was actually a big factor in help making amends with Disney's relationship with Pixar, resulting them to go and fully purchase Pixar. And then you can imagine the domino effect where it could go from there, bringing Ed Catmull and John Lasseter to be the creative heads at both Pixar and Disney. Then you would also go and see Bob Iger start this trend of purchasing different like major corporations, not just Pixar, but then like Lucasfilm and then also Marvel as well. So you see how it could all significantly grow, and it started out with the little seed of just Chicken Little becoming a hit. Its success was a massive impact, and that for me was probably one of the most shocking things about it because yeah, say what you will about the Chicken Little movie. I am definitely not a fan of it myself. But the impact of Chicken Little's success, I would say is about as on par as Snow White, Cinderella, and The Little Mermaid.
That's honestly kind of funny to hear. Actually, like, what you think about is like of all the films that did save Disney, whether it be Snow White, Cinderella, Little Mermaid, Chicken Little, it's like what?
I know it's crazy, but it's true. Like
It's true.
it all led up to Chicken Little's. Like it all started because Chicken Little turned out to be a big hit, and it was a hit that Disney desperately needed because like what was their other hit during the start of the 2000s? Lilo and Stitch, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, not counting like their live action stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever. Yeah, for animation wise, yeah. Besides Pixar, it's just Lilo and Stitch and Chicken Little, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, it was just yeah, it's just crazy. And again, I
The
might
whole two
actually yeah, go on.
oh, sorry, I was gonna say the whole 2000s was pretty much the whole like another. I wouldn't say it's like the worst decade for Disney, but it's definitely the weakest decade.
I'd debate because there is also like the 70s and the 80s, you know, during that what would Walt do period. But
Well,
it
yeah,
is definitely a major down point. There's no
yeah,
denying there.
I'm not saying it's the worst decade. It's definitely the weakest. Like, it's not as bad compared to like the 70s. Like, yikes. And the whole 70s in general, when it comes to entertainment, it's like before Star Wars, it was just not honestly that great a decade for entertainment.
Well, I
I mean,
mean,
there's some gems here and there, but in regards to animation, like if you watch like if you want to, yeah, they just definitely like played it safe with their animation when it comes to, like their TV shows. Like I can't think that I think like the worst example I saw was when they made like the Brady Bunch as an animated show. one of the worst things I've seen in my life.
Yeah. Oh God, really? What was that
Like,
like? One of those? Was that like from Hanna-Barbera or was it
it was from
Filmation?
Filmation, the
Ah,
people that made the Archies. And off topic, like it's not like it's not like the worst. Okay, let me rephrase it. It's like the most pandering piece of shit ever because it's toned down the humor. They reuse animation from the Archie, which is totally understandable because the budget for anime shows back then, I totally get why they're like that. But it's if you watch the Archie show, it's pretty blatant that they use a lot from that show. Plus the fact they had in not one, not two, but four animal sidekicks. Like that's overkilling it, bro.
yeah. Like honestly, I can't even think of like not even Disney would go that far. I mean, like I'm thinking like maybe Mulan, but not even. No, Mulan only had three. I think yeah, no, Moana only had two. Yeah, like not even. Yeah, I don't think even Disney has like that
Okay,
many animal
yeah,
sidekicks.
speaking of Mulan, poor pig. That poor pig.
Oh, the Moana, yeah.
Yeah,
You've already done that commentary like in a cartoon or
I
something.
did, yeah. And it was like I was honestly pretty mad about that because I was expecting that pig to play like somewhat a big part, but no, he was like only in it for like I think 10 minutes in total. It's like way to false advertise the pig. Good
Oh
movie, but
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean like it's great. Yeah, definitely Moana is definitely a great movie, but yeah, that pig is like it's like what's the point of like marketing it so much when you barely even show it? Like it's like the pig went on that the pig went on that first round like after she sings How Far I'll Go, and then the pig's just like, "Nope, I'm out of this. I'm done. No, you go have fun. Here, take the chicken."
Yeah, take the stupid chicken with you, which I like Hey Hey, but yeah, he can overstay his welcome sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, to be fair, I think the only defense that I could think of for Hey Hey is just that he doesn't know any better.
True. Yeah, I mean, I mean, we call him a chicken. He's a rooster, but he's a good rooster. I like Hey
I think
Hey.
it's not even that much of a difference for Maui, anyways. For him, he's just a boat snack.
Basically, yeah. But yeah, any other questions we got, Matt?
Yeah. Do you have? Yeah. Chadwell, do you all have any other questions that you would like to ask? Anything that you would like to know? Anything you want to? Let's see. Does anybody have a question? Let me know, people. Let's see. Based around the other look back episodes with Frozen and Zootopia, I noticed there's an audio difference. Is there any more segments that are more extended compared to the ones related to YouTube? Yes, actually, well, there actually is a major difference when I would go and upload something on YouTube. And that is mainly because it's to try to avoid any of the copyright claims, because I think we all know how the copyright laws are on YouTube, and I'm trying to do my best in order to make sure I can upload those videos and I can upload them with no hassle at all so that I can still go and actually make revenue based on my hard work, as well as to make sure that it could be available to as many people as possible. So that's why there is a major difference, and often you can actually hear on the YouTube versions that there are some slight differences in the audio where I would speed it up a bit, I would make the song, the background music a little bit faster than usual, or that the pitch would change up a bit. Like that can happen, but those are basically strategies in order to ninja my way around the copyright system. Like, as much as I would love to go and upload it on its entirety with the original version, I unfortunately cannot really do that with the current state of YouTube. However, if you go on my Patreon, and if you want to check out the parts individually, those ones are actually just the videos themselves. Those are the pure original versions where the songs are unaltered, and you could go and check them out for free. Like, you don't even have to be a member of my Patreon right now, considering that it's already available to the public on YouTube. You can go and check them out on Patreon for free. And it's not just with the animation lookbacks, but it also goes for the grand majority of my videos as well, like including reviews. Like that would be a common strategy that I would do in order to jump around the copyright claims.
I got nothing to add, so yeah, what he said.
You've you never faced any copyright trouble with your
Oh,
videos?
I have, but it's unrelated to Animation Lookback because I mean, lately, not since in a while that I got to deal with it, but it has been a struggle in the past where it's like I upload a video and then I notice like, oh, I just got like a third party claim, so I got to like go back and make that edit, re-upload again, and it turns out fine. And yeah, it's just a pain sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I try to
it's
be like very. I've been trying to be very cautious when it comes to that kind of stuff because I know in the future, so I want to try to be like more original with my stuff, like try to get more original music and all that stuff when the time comes, of course. But yeah, in the past, yeah, it's just a struggle. I try to keep it safe as best I can. And even when I add like additional stuff to my animations, I'm kind of like hesitant if that won't affect from your end if I were to add like a certain music in the background or anything like that. Because I do speed up the background music if needed for my animated skits.
okay. That's fair. And I mean, sometimes like with your skits, they can work out in favor, like to really set up the mood and stuff like that. So at least like with your way, you can actually go and take advantage of that. Um,
Right.
Also, it seems like for other questions, a lot of people are asking me regarding the next one. Like some people are wondering if it actually is a case of like they already want to know about what's going to be the next animation look back, which you probably saw at the end, like in the post credit of what it could actually be. Okay, so wait, actually, do we have any? Okay, no, I think I can actually go and answer this right now. Okay, so people, do you want to know the next animation look back? Do you want to know a little bit more details on that? Chowbell, let me hear it. Are you guys ready to know a little more info on the next one? Okay, so, all right, I think I see some people are prepared. Yes, all right, some people are already saying it. So yes, people, I think now it is time that I could go and officially make this statement. The next animation look back that I'm going to do will be The Muppets. Yes, yeah.
Sorry, little
Is that a
Zoom
Kermit
Kermit here.
Tsum Tsum? Oh my god,
Yep.
I want that so badly.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can find it somewhere on eBay or Amazon.
Yeah, and by the way, on a side note, oh my god, your Tsum Tsum collection, man. Holy crap.
And you know what's funny? That's not all of them. I
Really?
still have a lot more. Like you'll be surprised how much I got. Like that's not even half of what I've got.
Are
The rest
you
I just put in my
kidding?
little closet back here. Like, hold on.
Okay, hold on a second. We gotta see this. All right, we need to put the Muppets on hold because apparently we got like a whole bunch of Holy crap, dude! Oh my god, dude! Holy crap! That is crazy.
I have a problem, Matt. I have a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. But yeah, I'll definitely go and check. I'll check it out on eBay. But yes, anyways, yes, the next animation look back will actually be regarding the Muppets. And I know a lot of people have a bit of concern or they're wondering about the whole Jim Henson aspect, especially when technically the whole biography of Jim Henson has already been told a few times, such as the the Brian J. Jones book, and of course the Defunct Land miniseries. And what I'm going to do on my part is going to be a little bit more different than that. I'm not going to be focusing on the story of Jim Henson, but rather think of it more like I'm going to tell the story of Kermit the Frog, and I'm going to follow his adventures going from his origins in Sam and Friends all the way up to, well, nowadays with Muppets Now, or with The Muppet Show on Disney+, or even being a special guest star in The Masked Singer. So with that said, since I am going to be focusing on that, it is possible that I might not cover all the Jim Henson works per se. I might make some sacrifices, like I won't be getting into The Dark Crystal, or I might not go into stuff like Labyrinth. But then again, I will be able to have access to talk about stuff that's beyond the Jim Henson years, like The Muppets Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island, Muppets from Space, and the 2011 Muppets, and many, many more. So I can actually get into those Muppet projects as well. And one thing that I will say right now is just, oh my god, I am not going to be doing that immediately. I'm going to need a break. I mean, keep in
You
mind,
deserve it, man.
it's been almost 2 years since I've been working on Animation Lookback Disney Animation Plus, so I'm going to need some time before I fully get back into making another Animation Lookback series. So, most likely be coming out in 2021, but much later in 2021. I still need some time to recover, to take a break from that. Not to mention to also go and make some other projects as well, like to focus on making more reviews, more top 10s, more editorials, do like smaller history videos and stuff like that. But by the way, just a quick side note. By the way, this is not necessarily going to be the end of Animation Lookback Disney Animation Plus per se. And what I mean by that is it's not that I'm going to continue more on it, but I will be doing some additional things. Like, one thing I can reveal right now is that coming soon this month, I am actually going to upload the entire series in one major video. That I'm going to take the whole series from part 1 to part 16, combine them all together, and upload them in one massive video. And by the way, with that said, I want to do a little bit of a guessing game with you all, and you could join in too, Logan. And I would like to ask, without looking into it, without trying to do research or anything, I want you all to know, or I want you all to guess, how long is Animation Lookback Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus if you combine every single part together? Logan, how long do you think it would be?
I want to take an estimate guess, probably about, well, since it's 16 parts, I'm going to guess 16 hours.
16 hours. No. And some people are, okay, no, it's not that long. And I already see some people are saying 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. Some
like 3 hours, that seems pretty short.
Yeah, some people 48 hours. Oh boy. Let's see. Oh, someone got it right. Yes, I think someone got it right actually. So some people are saying someone actually got it right, and I think the real winner is or do you want to do another guess, or
Nope, I want to hear it.
Okay. The real answer actually is from White Yorkie 999, who got it right with a little over 11 hours. Yes, the real answer, if you combine all the parts together, Animation Lookback, Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus, and I calculated the total running time is 11 and a half hours.
Wow. I'm not surprised, but I am pretty surprised.
Yeah, for me, honestly, I was expecting a little bit more. I was thinking like somewhere between 14 or 12 hours, but then again, I was pretty close with 11 and a half. And I guess it does make sense, especially with the last one, where it ended up going to what, like 9, like it was over an hour, like the last part alone.
Right, because some are like 40 minutes, some are 30 minutes. But
Yeah,
that's quite a lot you got there, Matt.
oh yeah, that's one major content, and I want to see if I'll be able to go and upload everything into one major shot. And by the way, I just want to say low key, when I do so, like when I do upload it, there might be a possibility you will find that I might have done a few little minor updates here and there, just to like correct a few small errors so that I can go and take them all and I would put them up. And by the way, there is also another thing that I want to say, and this is just an idea that I do have. This is just like still something that's in my mind as a concept, but I am thinking about it. But at the same time, what I want to do is I want to take the parts and I want to cut them up into pieces, and make some kind of like like not compilation, but just upload like highlights of Animation Lookback. Like for example, I would go and take part 1 and I would split them up into 3 so that we would just have the history of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or the history of Pinocchio, or the history of Fantasia. So that we would just have those small bits that I would upload from time to time. What do you think of this idea?
That's that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, I know there's like some people who don't have the patience to watch a full on 30-minute video on YouTube. So if you want to like please those that just only have time for like maybe like 10 minutes of video, then that's actually a good way to do it.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just an idea that I have. I don't know how I'm going to do it, like either upload it on my channel or dedicate like a new channel to just Animation Lookback highlights, but it's just an idea that I have in my mind of like what else I could do with it. So, that's just something that I'm just thinking of what else I can do with that project. So that again, the compilation video, the big 11 and a half hour one, that's going to be sometime this month. Oh, and also, like I've already mentioned that I've already mentioned to you, Logan, that I would do this, but another thing, if you're like pretty soon, I'm gonna do this later, but pretty soon on Logan's channel, you too shall have a compilation, but just of your animations. So that could be something to look out for on Logan's channel. Like just like I know like you already got yours on file, and you've already done so much for me on this series, but now I want to go and make it for you. So I'll go and save you the trouble, and I'll save you the time to go and do that.
Oh, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, no problem. I think you'll really like it. I'll just try to figure out how to do the transitions and stuff like that. But we'll see we'll see what I could do. I think I could cook up something very well. And yes, by the way, some people have mentioned as well that his channel is Toucan LDM. And by the way, do we have any other questions?
I actually do have a question I just thought about, Matt.
Oh, yes.
So, and this is something I mentioned to you before, but I might as well bring it up again. So, you basically talk about all the animated films that Walt Disney Animation Films has made.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta ask you this. How come you didn't talk about the Three Caballeros, Those Amigos, Make My Music, and Melody Time?
Oh. Yeah, well, honestly, the reason is because there was just not enough info to talk about, or there's not enough to actually go and dedicate an entire segment to it. Like, as much as I would love to go and cover stuff like the Three Caballeros or Saludos Amigos and stuff like that, unfortunately, the entire history of it is just relatively short. There's just not enough to actually go and fully dedicate a whole story about this is the making of these shows. And they might as well be best described as just small segments of what happened during the war and what happened during the 1940s. It just turned out to be a coincidence that there was more info to find regarding Fun and Fancy Free and The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Those actually do have more history. Those were actually chronicled about what happened, and those did have a legacy. In fact, I think it was like probably a year ago that they actually released a book all about the making of Fun and Fancy Free, interestingly enough. But yeah, that's basically my big reason, is because as much as I would love to go and cover them, there was just not enough to actually go and discuss. There's not really much to go and talk about the making of it, the technical aspect of how they would go and make them. Like really, if I would just talk about them, it would just be like in the original, where I would just highlight the individual segments and just talk about what they're about, and that's it. Like there's nothing really anything to fully add in terms of the making of these movies in particular.
Yeah, that's fair enough because I do remember like watching those films too, and it's like, yeah, there's really, I mean, nothing against those films personally. Like I mean, I love like the Three Caballeros, but the other three, it's like they range from good to just good, but nothing like that memorable per se. And the most I can really think of when it comes to like the history between Make My Music and Melody Time, at least, is like apparently well, after Peter Pan was released, Disney needs to make at least one more film under RKO before their contract ends. And so what the studio ended up doing is like they made like a new film called I think Music Land or something like that. And what they ended up doing is like they took some segments from both Make My Music and Melody Time,
Yes.
put it all together, and they released it as like his own film. And then after that's released, then they started branching up into their own division, Vista. And Musicland is known to be one of the many like lost media in regards to Disney because it has not been released ever since, or at least that version of those films.
Yeah, true. But then again, I guess nowadays, like, since Make My Music and Melody Time are available, it's like, it is there, but it's just separated per se.
Yeah, but Make My Music is not on Disney Plus.
Oh, no, it's not?
No, and
Oh.
I think the reason why that's like the only film from Walt Disney Animation Studios not on Disney yet. And I think the reason why, if I were to guess, is because of the whole Martins and McCoy bit, because all
Right.
the gun violence and all that stuff. That's my guess, but who knows? Maybe like down the road they'll like have it up, but it's kind of interesting. They do have
Mm-hmm.
Melody Time with Pick a Spill smoking and all, so I don't see why
Okay.
not.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I guess that'll be down the road if Disney would be interested to even spend the money to go and revive stuff like the Martins and the Coys. And by the way, there is also another question. Someone is asking you, Logan, if
Ooh.
they want to know if you would go and come back to Animation Lookback The Muppets.
Uh, I was afraid somebody's going to ask me that.
It was
uh,
inevitable, man.
yeah. Here's the thing about myself. I'm sure, and we haven't talked about this yet, Matt, in regards to this, but
Hmm.
I feel like for now, as much as it was fun making these anime segments for Video Matt and help contribute with this project, it did took a lot of time from my other stuff that I needed to like work on because at the moment I was in the process of making my last episode of my MLP Meet series, which I've been
Hmm.
working on ever since beginning of 2019. And I've been like back and forth on that and in regards to this. But also I've been like also like working on other projects that I want to like get out either by the end of this year or maybe next year, depending. Like one project in particular is more of a passion project for mine is making an animated parody of The Raven, like the poem by Edgar
Yeah,
Allan
yeah,
Poe.
yeah.
Like I've been wanting to do that for like years, but I haven't really got a chance to do so. So I figured like after I'm done with my last MLP Meets episode, then I'll start working on that. And then also I've been working on other stuff that I don't want to mention just yet. But to answer the question specifically, I mean, I guess it's all up to you, Matt, because I don't know. I feel like I feel this will be like enough from my end back, but at the same time, I hate to say no, but
I mean, honestly, it is. I felt like it was expected. I mean, like this was a major project for you and me on Disney. But if you ever want to come back to do more animations on the Muppets, that like I welcome it with open arms. But if you want to focus more on your project, then go right ahead. I think we talked about at one point that you want to try to move on from the cutout animation style and you want to focus
yeah,
more on your own thing. Like we've already
and that
had that talk before, so that's
exactly.
honestly perfectly fine. Like there are ways that I could work around like not having those animated segments and I could just focus on doing the animation lookbacks itself. But for you, it's ultimately your choice. I don't force anyone to do anything, and if you want to focus on your own projects, you go and do so, man.
Thank you, Matt. And it's not just on my YouTube stuff, but also like I do have a job, personal life, and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So it's not easy to find like the right balance sometimes when it comes to my animations because there have been some nights where I'll get so tired from something for what it'd be for like my job or something else that I don't have like the motivation to like actually sit down and like animate something on my computer. I just rather just like sit down and just like either just relax or just procrastinate. It's not easy, but when I do make the time of it, I definitely make the time for it. And yeah, it's been like a great honor to like actually get a chance to like work with you on this look back, especially when comparing it to your first look back on Disney. Like I'm glad I can be able to help improve it in many ways as possible.
Yeah, it's been a true honor to be working with you, dude, and I just want to say thank you so much for the incredible work that you have done on Disney. It's just what you did. Like, I really do mean it. That you really took the series to levels that I just could not possibly imagine. And also, just want to mention that, like, I could return the favor as well. Like, keep in mind, I would be more than happy if you need my help or need anything to just assist you if you ever need like a character to voice. Like,
Oh yeah,
I'm
most
someone who
definitely.
loves to do voice acting, to bring characters to life. Like, if you ever need me to add to your roster, then I'd be down for it. Like, if need be, like, to further prove it, I got my demos ready. I've already got some experience, so
Oh
so yeah,
yeah,
just keep in mind.
I am aware of your vocal range, so yeah, I'll definitely keep you in time comes. Oh yeah, thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, and I think with that said, I think we can go and conclude this one off right over here. So, with all that said, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me on this animation look back after party. And Logan, thank you so much for joining me on this. So, by the way, if you have, if people want to know more about you on your end, where can people follow you on social media?
So yeah, if you want to like follow my shenanigans, you can look me up on Twitter under my username toucanldm. You can find me on there. You can find me on YouTube, of course. I did have Facebook, but I basically abandoned that,
You
so I
got
haven't been post.
banned?
Oh no, abandoned my Facebook.
Oh, abandoned. Okay,
No,
okay.
I couldn't really think what I could have done to get myself banned on Facebook. But yeah, I also got TikTok, but that's about it. I do have Instagram too, but that's mainly for my personal like life, not so much my YouTube. But hey, if you want to follow me there, you can. Just don't expect me to have conversations if you send me a personal message.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So, with all that said and done, I would like to go and say thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And don't worry, next week we will be back with all the trailers and the news that you want to hear. But this has been quite an incredible episode, and I hope you all enjoyed this as well. So, with all that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much. And until next time, see you later. Oops. Oh, did I hit my mic? Sorry about that. See you later, dudes.
See you later.